Whoa, customer. I'm Jay. This is Jay's VHS Rentals. Oh, you're looking to rent Scream 7? Yeah, that one's not out on VHS yet. Honestly, last time I watched all of the Scream films, I watched all of them in the space of about a week, and they started to bleed together in terms of what actually happened in which movie. That's why I think it's time for a recap. But before we get into that, if you like scary movies and you want fresh horror content every week, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button and help a tiny little channel out. Thanks. Okay, Scream 1 from 1996. After one of horror's best cold opens that sets the tone for the entire franchise and unexpectedly kills off Drew Barrymore, the movie starts proper. It's a year after her mother's murder, and high school student Sidney Prescott becomes the target of a masked killer known as Ghostface, who stalks his victims through phone calls and horror movie trivia. As her friends are picked off, Sidney discovers that the murders are tied to the secrets about her family, and the killer is closer to her than anyone expected. This isn't a movie about random killings. It's about a town hiding a secret. Small towns in horror movies are usually one of two things. Either super wholesome, or they're like Woodsboro, a crime documentary waiting to happen. Let's run through our cast here. First up, Sidney Prescott, final girl. Smart, cautious, and the only person in town that's reacting to the events like a real human being. Her boyfriend, Billy Loomis. He's moody, intense, and he climbs through windows instead of using a door. His best friend is Stu. He's energetic, loud, loves being the center of attention. My personal favorite character, Randy Meeks, horror movie expert. He's my spirit animal. Tatum is Sydney's best friend. She's confident, sarcastic, and appears to be cold. She has a brother called Dewey. He's the deputy sheriff, good-hearted, deeply unqualified to be investigating a serial killer case. And finally, Gale Weathers. She's an ambitious reporter who cares more about the story than the people in it. And when you revisit the first movie, it's amazing how much of a bitch she comes off. But trust me, she'll grow on you. Now, when the killings whip the town up into a frenzy, the teens do the obvious thing and have a house party. This is where we experience a key feature of the Scream franchise for the first time: the rules. As confirmed by my boy Randy, no sex, no drugs, no drinking, and never say, "I'll be right back." Now, this is the base slasher rules, but we'll revisit these for different movies with different themes. Now, this is a horror movie. Not everyone's going to make it out alive. The key deaths you need to remember: Casey Becker, Drew Barrymore, straight away at the beginning. Also, her boyfriend Steve. This sets the whole thing in motion. Tatum, in the jumper, she has a run-in with a garage door. Also, their principal and Kenny the cameraman. Now, at this point, that doesn't leave too many characters left alive. So who are the killers? Yeah, it's Billy Loomis and Stu. The big reveal happens at the party. They also confirm their motives. Now, Billy, he blames Sidney's mum for breaking up his family. He actually killed Sidney's mum and framed this guy Cotton Weary. Stu, on the other hand, that's a bit more confusing. It might be peer pressure, might just be the thrill of the kill, could be movies made me do it. Honestly, he's not really peer pressured into it. He pretty much just volunteers. You see, in the first Scream, the killers genuinely think they have main character energy. However, they don't get away with it. Sidney Prescott bests them in the end. Moving on to Scream 2 then. The movie opens up in the cinema. There's people everywhere to watch the new movie Stab, which is based on the killings from the first movie. And the theatre is full of people dressed as Ghostface. It makes it real easy for the real Ghostface to hide among them and pick off a couple of early kills. Meanwhile, Sidney's trying to move on at college. While the movie based on the Woodsboro killings is inspiring a new copycat Ghostface, new murders begin all over. Sidney and the other survivors realise that the past isn't finished with them yet, and the attacks, well, we'll get into that. Being the first sequel, we've actually got some returning characters. Sidney, Gale, Dewey, and Randy are all back. We're also introduced to a new cast. We've got Mickey, the film student and Sidney's friend. Likes movies a little bit too much. Derek, Sidney's new boyfriend. Nice guy, which in Scream is pretty much a death sentence. Hallie, Sidney's roommate. She kind of exists to prove that being near Sidney is hazardous to your health. We've got Debbie Salt, a new pushy reporter, following Gale around. Cece Cooper, a sorority student. She's played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. She has one of the best chase scenes in the whole movie. Essentially, this time round, we're looking to ask the question ourselves: can Sidney learn to trust again? The answer is absolutely not. Once again, Randy gives us the rules. It being a sequel, the rules are all based on sequels. That means bigger body count, more elaborate deaths, and anyone can die. Unfortunately, this is immediately proven to be correct because Randy dies straight after he says it. Randy isn't the only one to die. Cece and Hallie all eat it as well. The killers turn out to be Mickey, the film student, and the reporter Debbie Salt, who is actually Mrs. Loomis, Billy's mother in disguise the whole time. She would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids. The motive for Mrs. Loomis was obviously revenge for her son. Mickey, on the other hand, he wants a big trial, blaming violent movies. Scream 2 is essentially just a commentary on the 90s media panic about violent video games and movies. Honestly, if only the people that were worrying about that kind of stuff in the 90s could see all the things that was about to happen in the early 2000s. Now we hit trilogy territory with Scream 3. Now living in isolation, Sidney's drawn back into danger when murders begin on the Hollywood set of Stab 3. Now the investigation uncovers long buried family secrets and reveals the person behind the entire chain of events that starts the Ghostface legacy. Essentially, Hollywood recreated the murder house for entertainment and immediately caused more murders. Sidney, Gale and Dewey are all back in this one, as is Cotton, who was framed for killing Sidney's mother in the first movie. And we're introduced to the cast for this movie, which is Roman. He's the director of Stab 3. He's pretty calm, pretty professional. Jennifer is the actress playing Gale in Stab. She's self-absorbed but weirdly lovable. Mark Kincaid, he's the detective investigating the murders, and one of the few competent law enforcement officers in the entire series. Tyson, the actor playing Ricky in Stab 3, mostly memorable for dying while he tries to escape a mansion. And Angela, the actress playing Sidney in Stab 3. She's nervous and constantly terrified, but that's a fair response. Yeah, in Scream 3, we get to find out what would happen if Hollywood handled a serial killer investigation. The answer is they'll do a terrible job, but the lighting is much better. Now, just because Randy's dead doesn't mean we're not going to get some rules. He appears in the form of a videotape from beyond the grave. Essentially, this time around, the rules are that the past comes back, the secrets are revealed, and the killer is connected to the beginning. Oh, and a big one, the main character can die. And speaking of who dies, well, the key ones are Cotton and Jennifer, and most of the people on the set of the film. That is, apart from our director, who is the killer, Roman. See, he has probably one of the best motives in the whole franchise. He's Sidney's half-brother, who was abandoned by their mother, and he manipulated Billy in the first movie in starting the original killings. He has retroactively made the architect of the entire franchise. It's really full circle. The ending to this one takes place in this cool secret room. Sidney stabs Roman with an ice pick, but Dewey delivers the final headshot. Oh, and it concludes with Dewey proposing to Gale. Okay, Scream 4, or Scree 4M, depending on which way around you do things. On the anniversary of the original murders, Sidney returns to Woodsboro, just as a new generation of Ghostface begins targeting a new generation of teenagers. The killings all mirror the past, but this time with new teens, a new motive, and the same stabby murder that we love. The new teens essentially mirror the original friendship group. The theme is remakes. Sidney, Gale and Dewey are all back, but we also have Jill Roberts, who's Sidney's cousin. She's shy and quiet, very interested in Sidney's fame. Kirby Reed, she's the movie nerd of this generation. Honestly, the fan favourite. Charlie Walker, the film club member. He's basically the new Randy, but he's missing the moral compass. Trevor, Jill's boyfriend, kind of wanders around getting confused and being framed for things. And we also get Judy Hicks, who's the deputy working with Dewey. She's awkward but observant, notices things that others miss, you know, like a real police officer. We've also got Robbie. He's a teen that's live streaming everything, very much early YouTube internet culture. The rules come from Robbie and Charlie this time, and they're all themed around remakes. The new cast replaces the old. More brutal violence, technology and recording everything. Pretty much the whole friendship group gets wiped out in this one, as does any police officers attempting to protect Sidney and Trevor. The killers turn out to be Jill and Charlie. Jill wants fame and survivor celebrity status to be like her cousin. Charlie is just in it for the love of horror movies, and she doesn't want to just live through the trauma. She wants the attention afterwards. Scream 4 is really predicting the whole influencer thing. This is before Instagram had even properly figured out filters. The movie wraps up with Jill betraying and killing Charlie to be the sole survivor, and after a confrontation in the hospital, Sidney uses a defibrillator on Jill's head before shooting her in the chest and famously stating, "Don't fuck with the originals." The fifth movie is just called Scream because numbering your sequels is overrated. This time, a new Ghostface targets teens connected to the original killers, bringing survivors back to Woodsboro, but the attacks center on Sam Carpenter, who learns that she has a direct connection to the first murderer, as the killer tries to create a real-life requel and revive the dying horror franchise. Sidney, Gale and Dewey are all back, and we also have Sam Carpenter, the new lead, secret daughter of Billy Loomis, terrified that she might be like him. Tara Carpenter, Sam's younger sister, tough, sarcastic, and she survives the most brutal opening in the entire franchise. Richie, Sam's boyfriend, he's a friendly horror fan, which is kind of suspicious at this point. Amber, Tara's best friend. She's protective and intense and happens to live in Stu's old house. Mindy Meeks Martin, Randy's niece, the new rules expert. And Chad, Mindy's twin brother. He's an athlete, a nice guy. Wes Hicks is the son of Judy, who works with Dewey. He's a good kid, but he lives in a house with terrible door security. And Liv, Chad's girlfriend, who's constantly being accused of being the killer. At this point in the franchise, the significant other is being accused of being the killer so frequently that people in Woodsboro should be using background checks instead of dating app. Now, Mindy, descendant of Randy, confirms the rules this time round. They're requel rules, which is like the remake sequel. I know, it's a really dumb name, right? But the rules are legacy characters return, nostalgia matters, and the new protagonist replaces the original. We have a few key character deaths along the way in this one. Both Judy and Wes Hicks live, but most importantly, this is the movie where Dewey dies. It's a huge moment. This was one that actually really shocked me at the time. I was not expecting this. The killers this time round are Richie and Amber. Their motivation is that they want to create a better stab movie by committing real murders. They're really just a comment on toxic fandoms. At the end of the movie, Sam Carpenter, Billy Loomis's daughter, brutally kills Richie, while Gale and Sidney take down Amber, who is eventually shot by Tara. The movie ends with Dewey's tragic death from earlier in the film being honoured, which is nice, and Sam and Tara bonding in the ambulance. Okay, the finish line's in sight here. Scream 6. In New York City, Ghostface takes Manhattan. Oh wait, I think I'm getting that confused with a different slasher. After leaving Woodsboro for New York City, the new survivors are hunted by the most aggressive Ghostface yet. The murders are revealed to be a coordinated revenge plot connected to the previous film's killer, proving that surviving a Ghostface attack does not mean escaping the past. Essentially, Ghostface has moved to New York for career opportunities, because he's a career killer. The people returning in this one are Sam, Tara, Chad and Mindy, now known as the Core Four, and also Gale and fan favourite Kirby, whose death got retconned. The new characters are Detective Wayne Bailey. He's an NYPD detective helping the survivors. Very interested in the case. A little bit too interested. Quinn Bailey, his daughter, and Sam and Tara's roommate. Bit of a party girl persona. Ethan, the quiet, awkward college friend. He keeps on getting left behind, conveniently. Annika, Mindy's girlfriend, one of the most likeable characters and therefore immediately doomed. Dr. Stone, Sam's therapist, knows way too much about Ghostface trauma. Danny, the neighbour across the alleyway, suspicious at first, but one of the few genuinely good people. This movie shifts from who is Ghostface to how many Ghostfaces are there, or who isn't Ghostface at this point. Once again, Mindy explains the rules for us. The rules are all based around franchises. That means no one is safe, legacy characters can die, and the past always comes back. Like most of the side characters in this one die. The therapist dies. Annika dies with the ladder scene, which is brilliant. A whole bunch of Ghostfaces, but the core four all survive. The killers are Detective Bailey, Ethan, and Quinn. Essentially, they're Richie's family seeking revenge. The franchise goes full circle and we end up with the same motive as Scream 2, the parent trying to avenge their killer child. In this movie, Ghostface is less of a person and more of a family business. The final takes place in the Ghostface shrine. Sam and Tara work together to kill all three family members, with Sam putting her father's original Ghostface robe on to finish Detective Bailey. Okay, I think that just about covers it. We should now be all up to date and ready to survive Scream 7. Just remember to follow the rules. If this video's helped you out, help me out by dropping a little like on it. Let me know in the comments who your favourite Scream character is and why it's Randy. If you want more Scream content, I have another video on all the movies that influenced Scream and the impact that it had on horror cinema. I'm producing content weekly, so subscribe if you love horror movies. Until next time, I'm Jay. This is Jay's VHS Rentals. Be kind and rewind.